come on, Hand. Today, we talk a little bit about the most wonderful group of things ever made. Tools!
I don't like being called that. Timmy, I would never call you a tool. You are a good
Personal friend of mine.
We are talking about the
Kinds of items which are used to complete a task or make it easier.
So, going
Back in the history books, even like a simple little stick, that can even be considered like a tool.
I know! I love the sticks! You take them to the parks,
And you pick them up off the ground and you throw them,
and then it makes me so happy! I go run across like a crazy person, and then I run and I
pick it up off the ground, and I come back and I'm like, hey, here you go. You want to do it again? I want to do it again. Hey, quick, throw the stick. And that makes that stick a tool, creating joy in my little heartstrings. People would also just like poke stuff with a stick. And they, like when they were going hunting, and then they'd get all their sticks in a group and they'd be like, everybody got your stick? Okay, let's go take on that giant animal over there. Or they'd use it to hold food over the fire and like turn the stick around and around, rotisserie style. And then there were wheels, and they could roll everything along and carry all the babies. And they'd even like take sheeps for like strolls from this place over here to that place over there so they could go grazing and eating the grass in the greener pastures. But there's so many wonderful tools in the whole wide world and everywhere else that
there's no possible way we can even cover like 100th of the number of the tools.
Unless you want to stay here like and watch this for like years on end. But I gotta go take a nap soon. Since there is no way to give them all enough attention, we will simply focus on the ones that will help save you the most money. Isn't that great? And it'll help you like with the little things in your houses and places all around that you can go ahead and take care of some of the stuff that you own instead of paying somebody else to do it.
Yes, can you please fix the few missing boards
on that fence over there?
Sure, that'll be $1,000. Why don't you say?
Yes, it sounds reasonable since I have no idea what it is I'm doing. The creation of a tool really defines intelligence, because thinking up and finding ways to make jobs simpler by creating a tool is cool. Tools come in really two different types. The ones where you are the power to make the tool go, and the others that are powered by like electricity. Okay, Han, it's time to give a good example. Do your best. Several motions of the tool include holding and twisting like with a screwdriver here. Swinging like with a hammer and hitting things into the walls with nails and stuff. Or pushing and pulling like with this socket wrench right here. Whoop. And power tools do the same motion by using a motor and different gear sets that make the motion happen the same way, kind of like what Han was showing. So obviously, we should always use the power tools and save our muscles from strain of repetitive and over and over again motion. No! There are good reasons to use hand tools too! While power tools are easier for a lot of things, hand tools can be used with greater precision. In other words, a smaller movement. And that can be helpful for things that are small or things that need more precise placements of a tool. So now comes the list of the most common tools everyone should have and know how to use. You know, the most helpful ones to use around the house for the different jobs that you don't realize that you should have them for. And that includes a screwdriver, a hammer, a hex driver or Allen wrenches, pliers, socket set, box wrenches, adjustable wrench, tape measure, a drill, a saw, a putty knife, a hammer, a crescent wrench, and maybe even some needle nose pliers too. And I know what you're thinking. Well, that's all fine and dandy that we have them. Now what do I do with them? That's easy. These are used for the most basic kinds of repairs around their home. Like you have a loose screw somewhere, get a screwdriver, screw back in. You have something that needs a nail in the wall to hang a picture of your favorite little kitten. Go ahead and get that hammer and whack away, and don't put a hole in the wall, but just put the nail in the wall. Or you need to attach a wheel to a bicycle or something. You might want to use a box wrench or a socket set. Or you have the Allen drivers, and those are in lots of things now. They're even for furniture to go ahead and help put things back together. Or you take the putty knife to patch the holes in the walls of the place that you are renting. That way you can get your security deposit back. Or you have like a screw and you need to put it in a chair so it doesn't break anymore. Or you wrap it around with some tape and some glue, and then that makes it all sturdy and solid so you can sit your bum back on it again. But there's still more to know about these tools. For example, what is the most common types of driver style for a screw, and when would you use them? Ned, too complicated. What is a driver? I do not understand. How do you go way past my brain parts? It's not like, go drive a car, although that's fun too. Or it's like when you're going to play golf and you take the driver to hit the ball down the fairway. It's not that either. Or the software packages which make things work on your computer. It's not that either. It's the little shape that is sitting on the top of the screw head, where it matches up so you can go ahead and make the screw turn around and do its job. Okay, hand, let's draw 'em. Whoop! Flathead. The first driver style because it was flat and, on the head of the driver. And it was the simplest because it's just like a line. Phillips. The most basic driver styles and the most basic names, as is named after its inventor, Henry Phillips. And a hex head. These ones are giving more power to the drive style. I know you're like, more power to the drive style? That means you can put more force to them and they will work still. And the Starhead. These ones are good for grip and power transfer. Also, it is good to avoid slip when turning. And then there are a number of other ones that are safety heads. These ones are done because they're less common and make it harder to open things up, and where they want to keep the screw together and keep it safe. And since screws literally screw most things up, I mean hold most things together, you should really understand the machine screw from a thread-forming kind. A machine screw must have threads for it to fit into, so it must match, generally made of metal. Well, thread formers say, you think having matching threads will stop me? I will play by my own rules. I form my own threads. The thread formers, those unruly screws, you can use them to put threads into stuff that you're not going to take apart very often. You want to hold them together nice and tight, but you don't necessarily want to take the screw in and out and in and out. While machine screws are used for things that may be open and closed often, or that's something that needs a really tight twist and a lot of force to hold it together, you use a machine screw for that too. So with the drive styles and the different types, there can be many different combinations of screws, and that'll leave you sitting there saying, I have no idea which screw I need. Please tell me, somebody send help! To really understand when to use the kind of screw you need to really understand when to use the kind of screw you need, or the type of drive head to go ahead and turn the screw, well, often it's contained in an owner's manual. And, a lot of those are now found online, or something like that. And it can be for the toy or the item or whatever else the thing is that you have the screws into. And they're in all kinds of stuff. They're everywhere. Look out! So, power tools take things to a different level. You have the power to get stuff built. The thing that will probably help the most in your house and doing most of the projects is having an electric drill. So, electric motors are inside the drills that turn the gears, and the gears allow it to have more force, or torque. The torque is the force or the push it needs to turn a screw or a drill bit. Since motors are so cool, they have a lot more force than your little hand. So be super careful as you learn so you don't twist your hand. But you twist the screw instead. Circular saws spin round and round, round and round, in a circle with all their little bitey teeth. The teeth are sharp and they cut away like nom 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 the material when the saw spins. And while there are circular saws, there are also others like skill saws and like sawzalls and things like that have other teeth that go and do the same like the old wooden mill place again with that guy. He's never gonna get that house built in time. But these are just the basics. There are all kinds of special tools that have been made to work for one type of task. But if you're doing a job and you don't know what to use,
there's likely more than one way to do it. Ask around, check with others.
they might be helpful and friendly and help you work on the project too.
Or they might just say, oh, this is what you need to do.
Or check the internet, as many things now have instructional videos to watch so you can see how to use a tool to do the job right. So, tools can be as simple as a stick, which has many uses, including giving joy. But tools are so important to living life, there are too many to go over. Learn the basics so you can save money and do some of the stuff yourself. And when it's important to know when you should go out and get a professional to do it for you. Learn the basic types of tool use, how to swing a hammer, how to turn a screwdriver, how to measure twice and cut once, how to patch a hole in the wall and get back your safety deposit, or use a plunger on a toilet. Understand the different driver style to use for the right screw, and it will save you time and frustration and get the job done right and fast. Using electric motors helps give more force, but it isn't great for all options, but is very useful for a lot of home repair. Power tools are super cool, but if you don't know what you're doing, maybe stay in school a little longer, or get schooled by like the internet. Plus, if you're not an adult, get help from one. And if you are an adult, get help from one. It's okay. If you don't know what to use for the job, seek help. Keep on trying to follow along with the step-by-step instructional videos. Keep your minds open and your ears too. Go and learn things about tools. It's good for you. Bye.
Oh no, they use these screws? Someone get me the spanner wrench.
But it is not just electric powers, the motor, the drill, and something else, because I didn't read it in time. I need to have like a whole fence. That way I can't look through the fence and like struggle with the other dogs as they come walking past, and then we all get angry at each other. Learn the basics. Or you're going golfing and you take the driver so you can hit it down the road. Down the road? That is the wrong thing. Or it's not like when you have a driver and you're going clubbing. But they might do it for going hunting, and they're like, hey, I got this stick. Let's go take on this big old let's go take on an elephant.